Hello, my name is Crystal Chigbu and I'm your Hope Catalyst. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to choose joy in difficult times. Particularly for us that are Nigerians, I'm a Nigerian, we've gone through our fair share and we're still going through our fair share of difficult times. It's really been a very difficult time for us as a nation. Just recently, there were some killings in Ondo State, and that's not the first time. There's been back to back a lot of occurrences that have been very sad. So I would say as a people we are going through difficult times. Also, if you look at your personal life, some people probably in their business or in their education, whatever it is, people are just going through very tough times. And it's so difficult for you to make up your mind to have joy or be happy in this kind of difficult things, especially when you are overwhelmed by different occurrences. Just as you think that you're coming out of a particular one, and then another one happens. Almost like the saying that goes that, when it rains, it pours. And I'll say that word we've been going through as a people in Nigeria, and also, individually just really going through very tough times. So very quickly, I'm just going to be sharing tips on how to choose joy in the midst of a very difficult situation. It can be so hard, especially because when you're going through a tough time, it just is all that you know about, and almost everything that your mind is overwhelmed with. The first thing that I will say is that you take time to pray. And as difficult as they may look, when you're going through tough times, you really need to be tough in yourself. And the first weapon that has really worked for me is to go on my knees and pray. And that's why if you listen to my videos very well, I talk a lot about faith. I talk a lot about, having faith is something that is higher than you. And because for me, I'm Christian, I just really default to going back to my God. And that I really find in the place of prayer. There is nothing really, because when you're going through a difficult time, you get to worry. And when you're worried, you really cannot find that joy from within, or be thankful, or gratitude, or whatever it is. So there is a scripture that talks about, in all things with prayer, supplication, and thanksgiving, we should let our requests be made known unto God. So first, you want to voice it out. You want to pray about it. You want to, let it out. And that really just has a way of helping you get your joy back and making a choice for joy. The second thing that I'm going to say is thanksgiving. Still really, talking from that scripture. On Sunday, my pastor really talked so much about thanksgiving, and it's also the same thing that we call gratitude. So you want to ensure that in the midst of everything, you want to be grateful and be thankful. So when you have prayed about it, and then with thanksgiving, like he said, almost as if you list it with thanksgiving, you let your request known, and then you become worry-free, because then you have peace in your heart. Usually for me, when I am thankful about something, I realize that just from nowhere, I start to experience joy in my heart. And you might want to try it, and just focus on being grateful, being thankful, even when you cannot really find a place to be thankful. And that's where I will take you to the next thing that really works for me, and how I find joy in the midst of difficult times is what I call reflections. And also a songwriter says that count your blessings, name them one by one. That's why it's good to reflect, to cast your mind back to, the times when things have worked for you, and be able to really then come out and say, you know, if it has worked for me in time past, it would definitely really work again. So you want to reflect, you want to meditate, as some people choose to call it. So it's reflecting, it's casting your mind back on the things that have worked. As much as there are difficult times today, you know that there have been times when it has not been as difficult as this. And you cannot get to that point except you're really reflecting and taking your time to check the things that have worked. And you know, it almost looks like a circle, because when you're reflective, you become thankful. When you're thankful, you voice it out. So pretty much it's almost like a circle that just keeps revolving. So you want to reflect and just see how you've been able to go through times when it has not been as difficult. And finally, I want to tell you to envision, to look ahead. There's nothing like looking ahead. There's nothing like, you know, you being able to picture a situation of what you would rather have. And that envisioning is what helps you to get to the place where you really want to be. So if you can sit back after you've prayed about it and you've become grateful about it, and then you've reflected and you want to now envision and look ahead, what would you rather have? Because when you start thinking of how to make that thing possible, you start having, you know, different ideas, different opportunities coming to your head, and you can think really well. So I give you an example. For instance, maybe you want to buy a car. If you're able to picture that car that you want to have, even, and not focus on the fact that, oh, I've been jumping buses, and you can have a good picture of what, you know, that car looks like, then the question starts becoming, what do I need to do to be able to access the car that I want to have? And then before you know it, you have a lot of joy overwhelming you. Like I said, tough times do not last, but tough people do last. And one of the ways that you get tough in your ways is by focusing on joy, is by thinking of, you know, happy moments. It's by being grateful for joy. And the things that you keep your mind on, that you rest your heart on to do, becomes the things that begins to happen for you. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and like I said, my heart goes out to all the people that have lost loved ones in this period, especially with the happenings and the occurrence that happened in Ondo State. And I ask that, you know, God will grant us peace in our hearts. Have a lovely day.